My last episode was about the death penalty across the world. In this episode, I am going to talk about death penalty in India. Death penalty is a government-sanctioned practice whereby a person is put to death by the government as a punishment for a crime. The sentence ordering that someone to be punished in such a manner is referred to as a death sentence, whereas the act of carrying out such a sentence is known as execution. In colonial India, death was prescribed as one of the punishments of the Indian Penal Code. It remained in effect after the independence in 1947. The first hanging in independent India was that of Nathuram Godse and Narayan Apte in the Mahatma Gandhi assassination case on November 15, 1949. Under Article 21 of the Constitution of India, no person can be deprived of his life except according to procedure established by law. In addition to the Indian Penal Code, a series of legislation enacted by the Parliament of India have provisions for the death penalty. Indian courts continue to hand down death sentences for the most serious crimes, although no executions have been carried out since 2015 until earlier this year. Other nations have much higher rates of capital punishment than India. In India, most death sentences were imposed for murders and murders involving sexual violence. Total number of prisoners on death row as on 31st December 2018 was 426 and total number of prisoners on death row as on 31st December 2019 was 382. Out of the 54 cases of sexual offences for which the death penalty was given in 2019, 40 cases, that is 74.07%, had a victim that was below 12 years of age, making it 39.21% of the total number of death sentences in India. In India, these sentences can be handed out under various sections of the Indian Penal Code. There are also 24 other state and central laws which contain provisions for the death penalty. The POSCO Act was amended in August 2019 to introduce the death penalty for the non-homicide offence of penetrative sexual assault on children. The last death sentence executed by the judicial system in India was the 4 convicts in the 2012 Delhi gang rape and murder case. That was the first time 4 convicts were hanged together on the same platform. The death sentence before that was the 30th July 2015 hanging of terrorist Yaqub Memon, who was convicted in the 1993 Mumbai blasts. Prior to the hanging of Memon in 2015, Mohammad Afzal was convicted of plotting the 2001 attack on Parliament, was hanged on 8th February 2013. Mohammad Ajmal Amir Kasab, who was convicted in the 2008 Mumbai terror attack, was hanged on 21st November 2012, and Dhananjay Chatterjee was charged and convicted with the murder and rape of a 14-year-old girl, was hanged in 2004. Before this, the last death sentence carried out was in 1995 when a serial killer known as Otto Shankar, also known as Gauri Shankar, was hanged. Hanging and shooting are the 2 methods of death penalty in India. According to the Criminal Procedure Code, hanging is the method of execution in the civilian court system, and the Army Act 1950 lists both hanging and shooting as official methods of execution in the military court-martial system. According to a study by National Law University in Delhi, 759 people have been hanged in independent India until now. Since independence in 1947, the majority of executions have been carried out in Uttar Pradesh state, according to the National Law University. The state has executed a total of 354 people, with the next highest number being Haryana with 90 and Madhya Pradesh with 73 executions since independence. Crimes punishable by death in India includes aggravated murder, other offences resulting in death, terrorism-related crimes resulting in death, terrorism-related cases not resulting in death, rape not resulting in death, kidnapping not resulting in death, drug trafficking not resulting in death, treason, espionage and military offences not resulting in death. According to the Penal Code, if any member of a group commits murder in the course of committing an armed robbery, all members of the group can be sentenced to death. Kidnapping for ransom in which the victim is killed is punishable by the death penalty. Being a member of an association or promoting an association while committing any act using unlicensed firearms or explosives that results in death is punishable by death. engaging in organized crime if it results in death is punishable by death. Under the Prevention of Atrocities Act, bearing false witness in a capital case against a member of a scheduled caste or tribe resulting in that person's conviction and execution is punishable by death. Assisting individuals who are under the age of 18, mentally ill, mentally disabled or intoxicated in committing suicide is also punishable by death penalty. The judgments in the Bachan Singh vs. State of Punjab case plays a very crucial role in deciding whether any crime deserves death penalty or not. In the 1980 case of Bachan Singh, the court held that the death penalty should only be applied for the most wicked offences, that is, the rarest of the rare. Application of the death penalty is not always predictable, still highly restricted. Following the 2012 gang rape and murder, the Supreme Court amended the law in April 2013 to make it more stringent by adding new categories of offences regarding violence against women and minor girls. Now we may have a question: is death penalty constitutional? The Mithu vs. State of Punjab judgment states that death penalty is not a mandatory punishment. The Supreme Court has also ruled that mandatory death penalty is unconstitutional. Section 416 of the Criminal Procedure Code says, if a woman sentenced to death is found to be pregnant, the High Court shall order the execution of the sentence to be postponed and may, if it thinks fit, commute the sentence, that is, to change the sentence to imprisonment for life. The Supreme Court has also held that mental illness is a mitigating factor and those with such disorders are spared. Other categories of offenders excluded from the death penalty include individuals below age 18 at the time of the crime and intellectually disabled at the time of the crime. Advanced age may also be a mitigating factor in sentencing, although it does not have the same exclusionary effect as it does in the case of a youth. For a convict to file a mercy petition, his or her death sentence must be confirmed by a high court first. The law says the death sentence convict has an option to appeal to the Supreme Court. If the Supreme Court either refuses to hear the appeal or upholds the death sentence, then the convict or his relatives can submit a mercy petition to the President of India as per Article 72 or to the Governor of the state as per the Article 161. Grounds to seek mercy appeal range from physical fitness, age, law was too harsh, or the convict is the sole breadwinner of the family. According to Article 72 of the Constitution, the power to pardon lies with the President. The article also states that the President can grant pardons, reprieves, respites or remissions of punishment or to suspend, remit or commute the convict. The mercy petition is reviewed by the Ministry of Home Affairs, which consults the state involved before going to the President. While former President Pranab Mukherjee had rejected 24 mercy pleas, his predecessor Pradeepa Patil granted a record 30 pardons, some of which were cases of brutal crimes. President Ramnath Kovind, who came to power in July 2017, has rejected at least 2 mercy petitions, that of Jagat Rai, who burnt alive 7 people, 5 of them were children, and the most recent being 2012 gang rape convict Akshay. The powers of the Governor of State are very similar to that of the President. According to Article 161, the Governor can grant pardons, reprieves, respites or remissions of punishment or to suspend, remit or commute the sentence of any person convicted of any offence against any law relating to a matter to which the executive power of the state extends. The Supreme Court has repeatedly highlighted the importance of remorse as a factor in commutation of the death sentence, mandating that the accused must be shown to be beyond reformation to justify imposition of death. Guess this episode was informative. Please do comment your thoughts, and you can also email me your thoughts. Please stay connected with us. This is Nisha PS.